Identity is actually a very complex idea, and I think I'm going to come at it from a very philosophical place. So I think in life in general, we interact with the environment, right? We interact with people, and we interact not only just with particular people, but we interact with genders, we interact with cultural differences, with religions, with different kinds of countries and different kinds of languages. And all of these things feed into our identity. Now, the way that I see identity personally is that we, and this is going to be very circular, but I'm going to explain it in a moment, is that we look at things and we either identify with it or we don't. Right? So now what I mean by that is, we either are affiliated with something, so we are able to look at it and be like, I understand that thing, and that thing is important to me. And there are other things which we don't even look at, right? And those things don't feed into our identity at all, right? So that's how I see identity. It's us affiliating ourselves with things. It's us saying that thing is relevant in my life and that thing is not. So when it comes to music, for instance, there's certain kinds of genres of music that will appeal to one person and not appeal to the other. And I believe that genres of music are those things that will form identity. Cultural differences. The fact that you might like one religious holiday and others might not be affiliated with it. They might not understand why that's important. That feeds into your identity. So for me, it's you build and establish your identity. It's not something that should be given to you, although often it is. So often we are forced into these, for instance, as a woman, you're forced into heteronormative ideals, right? So it's like, well, as a woman, this is what you should be. And the thing that I think people miss is that we have the opportunity, especially in this day and age, to change that kind of way of viewing ourselves. So for me, what's important is that you establish that this thing here, this is what I'm going to affiliate myself with, this is what I'm going to identify myself with, and this I won't. Right? And that, I think, is what establishes personal identity in the everyday sphere.
Right. Thank you. The next question is, what solution can you offer us as to develop a positive self-identity?
And that is very much related to the first part, right? Because we identify objects and we identify events and people and ideas out there as something that we affiliate ourselves with, as something that we can identify ourselves with, we should be careful what it is that we choose to inform us, right, about who we are. So, in other words, is that if you know that something is morally wrong or something is unethical, then you shouldn't really be affiliating yourself with that thing. Right? You should choose things in life that's going to bring you up, that's going to rise you up, that's going to feed a positive tone into that identity. And so, for instance, a very good example is that you can make friends with drug addicts. You could, if you wanted to, but then you're starting to associate yourself with those types of people, which is fine, but the problem is through association, it does actually feed a negative vibe into your identity. So for me, associating yourself with positive people will bring that up, right? Will be able to elevate the identity. So for me, identity is self-discovery every day. Right? It's something that you say, I like this, and why do I like it? Because of this. And then to take that and say, I choose this to feed as part of my identity, to build who I am. So self-construction for me is a very important concept that I think people kind of don't look at. So what they do is they follow the trends and they follow what everybody else is doing without properly analyzing it and say, if I do this, what does it say about me? So being able to reflect, self-reflection, and saying, if I follow this movement, it's because I believe in it. Something about me is associated with that, something is affiliated with that. So that's how I would say that you can improve the identity, the self-identity at least, is pick who you listen to, who informs who you are, right? And choose your battles wisely, I guess. Say that I don't want to be a part of this and I want to be a part of that. And know that self-construction is a very real thing. Right? Nobody else makes you who you are. You are determining of that.
I think of identity as more than just your personality. In a way, it kind of goes beyond that. Identity as a whole, actually, I feel, is just how you kind of represent yourself. And in a way, you kind of represent yourself more than just your family members or your friends. You also have another personality when you're, for instance, talking to your manager or potential clients, for instance. In that way, you put on a different face almost. For instance, you dress differently or you react differently. For some people, they laugh or something.
So for me, identity is how you perceive yourself, not just your vision, but like mentally talking, it's how you're gonna perceive not just your looks but your action itself. So for example, you're gonna try to perceive how you think about yourself on your clothes or with your actions. And for me, basically that's what identity means. It's just the way that not only people see you, but the way you see yourself through like your lenses and your.
So the thing about us, like focusing on a positive identity, I feel it's more of a like continuous process. It's more of an ongoing thing, rather than it's not something you just wake up one day and you're like, I'm positive now. It's something I feel it takes months and even really years to really work on. It's right about a lot of it's about having the right mindset. And to get into the mindset, you have to sometimes change your behavior. So it's more than just inward; it's also in a lot of ways outwards as well.
How about you?
For me, like positive identity would be the identity that you kind of matches yourself with, something that represents who you really are, something that you really identifies with. So I think from a positive identity would be something like something that really matches you, something that you see that's real me, that's who makes me feel good, that's what makes me feel who I really am. It's like the truly representation of yourself throughout, of your mind of yourself, but in yourself. I don't know if it makes sense.
So basically, I'm the student of SolBridge, so it can realize me like what should we do every day and what is the importance to me now. And second is I'm the president of basketball club. It can realize me how to like keep the exercise every day and how many times we have to go to sports every week like that.
Yeah, I agree that identity is gonna bring some like events to your life. It means that you need to do something, you need to fulfill your like obligation and stuff like that. So for me, identity is more of a social construct. It's something that the society gives you. So it's a commonality and a common quality that a group of people share, and it's the thing that's gonna keep a group of people together as a social group.
So for me, the first thing is like my parents influenced me a lot because when I was young, my parents always take me to take some like running, like swimming or play basketball like that. So it can make a really good habit to me to do the sports every day or every week. So second is we have a really big stress when I was in high school, in the university before. So it makes me to know how to learn more from my university and how to get good grades from my school.
Yeah, for me, I think there are two aspects. The first is that you need an external factor. For example, you need a social surrounding, you need other people to tell you this is your identity, and you need a like relevant experience for people to show you that this is like what this identity means. And secondly, it's more like internal. Like for you yourself, you need to know that what is your identity, and you need to know that what is the goal you want to push forward, and then you push yourself into the similar circumstances that's gonna reinforce this identity.
What Frank just said, that identity is a symbol of what we do every day. Actually, it's a kind of our responsibility and what we are. Because how we choose our responsibility is based on what we do every day, our personality, and the achievements that we intended to attain. So to be simple, our identity is a kind of our own responsibility and what efforts that we're gonna make. But in my opinion, except the symbol of responsibility and the personality that Frank just talked about, I think identity is also a kind of our own culture and for example, I'm from China. If I speak in Mandarin that 我来自中国, maybe not many foreigners can understand this sentence that I'm from China. But when it comes to a more specific aspect, that 我是扬州人, I will say 我是扬州人. Maybe not many Chinese can understand because that's my identity and my own dialects will remind me of who I am. And also my own culture, so I need to preserve this. So and that's why I need to preserve my own my own dialect and my own culture.
Slovenia because people have different social identity and is a combination of multiple identity and is absolutely impossible to be single. Secondly, people have their own personality. The characteristics of people attract each other to form different social groups. And for example, if you like dance and you will want to know something about dancing or someone who can dance. And finally, I think her thoughts are very unique on the second question because many people's thoughts are more inclined to improve self-learning to construct a positive identity, and this is an issue worth discussing and thinking. And
as a millennial, I would like to answer to the question, what is identity? And the first of all is a character. At the same time, answering the first question is, who am I? Which is really difficult, and people are taking mostly the time off to explore themselves and answer that question. And from our point of view, the millennial generation is mostly are thinking themselves as by self-esteeming, with whom they're surrounding themselves, which is also answering to the next question, how we make a positive self-identity itself. Actually, it's surrounding yourself with the better people, with unique people, and at the same time, the way you live, the life of the style of your life, and so on. So, shortly, the self-identity is actually answering the question, who am I? By answering it, we can identify what type of the person you are. Thank you so much.
In my opinion, identity is figure out who I am and find out what's your identity. So, I mean like who I am. Answer to oneself. So that's why identity is really diverse. So because all the person's own word is really different each other, so that's why identity is really diverse. Thank you.
For making a self-positive identity is more important to get support from your family. So it's other things making the friends, and the other ways is spending your time wisely. It's going to sport, as others said, making different kind of activities, and other stuff as well.